Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of the Men of Steel podcast where we talk about Superman and Superman adjacent topics. If you enjoy this clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your shows. But it is possible to do like interesting rap songs that actually do tie into Superman. And Matt, you actually included one that I thought was a really good reference that wasn't on the list that we were talking about, which was Luthor by Lex the Lexicon Artist.
Yeah, so Lex the Lexicon Artist, if you follow me on Twitter at all, I never shut up about. Lex I became friends with when she first started rapping, I don't even know how many years ago now. With the pandemic, everything just feels like 10 years longer, even though it's not. But we became, fast friends, and she was a guest on Autographs pretty early on, and is just a really cool, awesome human. And when she put out her first full-length record, one of the songs Luthor on it was this pounding deep bass kind of bravado song that you hear, especially in a lot of nerdcore rap songs. But it's from the perspective of Lex rapping as Lex Luthor, and it's a funny play on words because she's Lex the Lexicon Artist, Lex Luthor, but it's very much this kind of what Lex is thinking, how he's gonna finally beat Superman. And it just not only is it a masterfully rapped and made song, but it's really cool to see this side of it from the villain perspective. I feel like that's more common now in pop music, to see the villain's perspective. We have lots of TV shows and movies also featuring villains or anti-heroes, but pop music didn't always do that, and I feel like it's more common now. And this song was really important for me to bring up because it's so cool. I'm a geek, and it's part of the nerdcore genre, and nerdcore primarily focuses on no alluding to references. It is full-on reference. There's no innuendo. It's just endo. And so it's one of those things that I love the idea of this kind of bravado rap, because even though I hear Lex's voice, I can picture Lex rapping this, which is really kind of cool.
It'd be kind of cool to have a Lex Luthor Superman rap battle,
right
in the middle of Metropolis, like 8 Mile.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really great song. If you haven't listened to Lex the Lexicon Artist at all, I highly recommend it. She's done some amazing stuff. But yeah, I also for me, I picture because we've talked about this, if I picture Lex Luthor, I picture the Clancy Brown voiced animated series Lex Luthor, and I totally kind of want to make a fan rap video now of kind of the mouth dubbing thing that people do, but with Lex from that cartoon rapping this song. I think that would be fun. But yeah, it's dope, and this one is not. We were talking a lot about light references and kind of just at a name at best. In deep, talking about kryptonite, talking about specific characters, specific motives. It's really well done.
Yeah, and that was a nice thing to come across songs that were much more explicit. In this list, some of them are just are way up there, the Jimmy Olsen blues.
Yeah,
where it's that's going to be more explicit there. There were a few. There was one Matchbox 20. Real World.
Yes.
I was I'm kind of dubious about this. The first verse isn't anything related, and then the second verse is just from Krypton, as super being oh yeah, no, that's pretty, yeah, that's on the nose right there.
Yeah, I grew up listening to Matchbox 20. They're one of my favorite bands, and Rob Thomas's lyrics are very much on the nose. And what's funny is I just didn't think musicians could be nerds when I was a kid. It's stupid, obviously, but so when I first heard the song on their first record, I was dude's talking about Superman? Cool.
Right.
It just didn't seem possible to me, because this is way before a lot of the more explicit stuff, or even things now like Lizzo making incredibly nerdy references in her tracks and stuff like that. That just wasn't common, I felt, when I was growing up, not ubiquitously anyway. And so this, a big alt-rock pop band, to mention Superman so specifically, I was this is cool.
Nerd culture wasn't that big of a thing back then.
No.
And it's so cool to see it it's blossoming and becoming what it is today. And all the movies and things that are out there now, we have so much stuff to gush about now.
Yeah, this is a slight tangent, but we've come full circle. The newest Ninja Turtles game that came out has a rap song by RZA on it, and has a rap song by Mega Ran, one of arguably the most famous nerdcore rappers, who made his career rapping over Mega Man beats and now made a Ninja Turtles song. It's so cool to see it wrap back around, where people are now being celebrated for being nerds, and the stuff that kind of had to do in secret or to small audiences, they can do it. And I obviously the Wu-Tang Clan is full of nerd references, but as a kid, I just never clicked. I never realized that. But they're all gigantic nerds, the lot of them.
Yeah, I want to stop and take a second to look at the lyrics. 'Cause I didn't have a chance to listen to all these. I want to look at the lyrics for T-Pain's, because T-Pain is a giant nerd.
Yeah.
I did not know what that song was, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, well, because most people think of T-Pain as a producer and like a hype man, but like he did some seriously cool rap songs back in the day. I don't know that I had heard this one before, but I listened to it when I saw it on the list.
I had never heard that song before, and I was like, TPain Superman. He had a Superman song? I was like, oh, it's a collab song. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so talking about like T-Pain Superman, which is with DJ Khaled. It opens with like doing a little bit of the John Williams score leading into it, and then you do get some lyrics in there. T-Pain, I know, is a giant nerd. Like, I know that T-Pain got his start as a musician by way of fixing people's computers, and someone gave him the software for auto-tuning as an exchange for him doing some work on a computer, and that's how he like learned how to like start making his own songs.
Yeah.
And I just like love that it's just this fucking nerd.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, during the pandemic, he was Twitch streaming pretty regularly and like rating other people's like small Twitch streamers' Twitch pages and stuff. Like, he's a gigantic nerd. It's really great.
Yeah, and like, I mean, he was on the Epic Rap Battle.
Yep.
Stevie Wonder versus Wonder Woman.
Yes. Which was very good.
Yeah. So definitely like fun there. I mean, there's some of the whole like it's a rap song where it's just like, look how awesome of a Superman I am kind of stuff going on in there. But like, you know, there's also some direct like, again, it opens with the John Williams score. So
yeah. Well, and like I don't mind the bravado. Like I just said, the Lex bravado stuff. The reason the Eminem bravado stuff doesn't work is because he's outed as an incredibly shitty misogynist and like racist and homophobe, but also just there are different levels, right? He's not. There's no jokes in Eminem Superman. It's very much like it's just very much a sex song and about sex, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But like
which is weird because like Eminem became well known because of doing like kind of jokier rap songs.
Yeah. And like has dressed as Superman in his music videos and dressed as Batman and Robin with Dr. Dre in his videos too.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but he like always pushed back against nerd culture and hated being called a nerd and all that stuff. I think. I mean, I assume some of that comes from the sensitivity of being one of the most famous white rappers. Tons of white folks rap, but like he was like one of the most famous fast, and in a time where the ones who were doing it for a long time weren't as well known. And so I'm guessing,
especially in that era.
In that era, for sure.
You know, like I'm sure he got like a lot of Vanilla Ice comparisons.
Oh yeah.
And I say I'm sure because I'm like, wait, he like started as a rapper when like I was in junior high.
Yeah.
So it's like, was I even aware of some of those? But I do remember people being like, well, you can't be a real rapper if you're white.
Right.
It was like a conversation point.
Which
like,
I got also because Lord knows white people have stolen enough music from other people. So like I get that, like wanting to protect yourself and protect your music, but like, you know, still I don't like. But this song, the T-Pain song, feels playful, feels more fun.
Oh, it's very playful.
Yeah. And that comes from, I think, knowing the source material too a little bit.
Oh, while we were calling out people for shitty stuff, I do want to point out that 3 Doors Down played at the Trump inauguration.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're shitholes. They're terrible. I don't. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I was real sad when I found that out.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh no.
turns out a lot of people suck. And we learn more and more each day.
Although it also shows that like how many rungs down the ladder of fame Trump had to go through in 2016.
Yeah.
To find somebody.
3 Doors Down as his inauguration band.
Yep.
Like even in 2006 it would have been like, I feel like you're 10 years too late.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Remember, if you like the clip after you're done liking and subscribing, check out certainpov.com where you can find more episodes of the show as well as a ton of other great shows.